The amount of farms in Denmark is declining by 8 to 10% every year and has been doing that for the last 50 years. If we go back when I started in '92, there was about 27,000 farms with cows. Now there's 1,900.
Kjartan Poulsen is an organic farmer in the west part of Jutland. During his 35 years of work, he has seen the number of dairy farms decrease.
I started with 44 cows, and 10 years ago we went up to almost 1,000 cows, and now we sold off one farm and then came down to 500.
From 2013 to 2023, there's been a 39% decrease in the number of dairy farms in Denmark.
The average age of farmers is growing, not declining, meaning that Denmark we have less young people under 35 as a farmer as people over 80. You don't have anyone to take over, and you don't have anyone that's skilled enough to take over. Because I have to tell them, you have to work 7 days a week, you have to work 10 hours every day, most of the year. You have to work twice as much as your friends, and you will be paying the half. Isn't that a good deal? Most say no thank you.
Apart from the lack of young farmers, money also plays a big role in operating a dairy farm. In 2014, the total cost of milk production was around 43 cents per kilogram of milk. In 2022, the cost increased to more than 50 cents.
When you have to buy a farm, we are speaking 5 million euros to 10 million euros. That's quite normal. And to take on this debt, you have to have a certain certainty that you can live from it.
Even though there are fewer dairy farms in Denmark, the production of milk has increased from 2013 to 2023 with 12.91%. How is it possible that less farms produce more milk?
We see an increase almost every year. It's due to the heritage that is always a little bit better. That's why we see in Denmark the average is always a little bit higher, a little bit higher.
I have been farmer for 50 years. When I started, we had a production about 6,000 liter in average. In last year, our farm had 14,000 liter in average.
We have improved it from approximately 6,000 kilograms in 45 years ago up to 11,000 now. We can produce the same amount of milk with half the number of cows. And this is done both by improving the management, the better feeding, better caretaking of the cows, but it's also genetically.
By picking the genetically best cows and bulls, farmers get to produce more milk. Viking Genetics is one of the breeding companies using technology to improve milk production.
To get the best cows, there's different ways to do it. By measuring how much milk the cow is giving, and then you might have a bull that you already know something about. Then you can put these together, and in that way you get an offspring that's even better. Today it's controlled by a genomion, so you just take a test from the ear. You take a little bit of skin out, and then you can see the genomic of the cow or the bull, and from there you can just sort of plan it.
When I was young, we saw in the show how good a bull was. But when the bull has produced heifers, we saw that it was not good enough. When we use genomic tests, now we can see more.
We go out, pick some of the best animals in the population. Especially we pick the bulls, and then we take semen, and then the farmers can order semen from our bulls and improving his herd by that. Then we also find the very best females in the population. If you mate this female with one of our very nice bulls, then there is a chance that the average breeding value of that offspring will be higher. If you see a cow nowadays, it's from a genetic point of view a bit healthier than it was 30 years ago, even though it still have a higher production. We could have had much higher production if we wanted, but that we did not want, because if we have just gone for only on production, we would have had very low level on health traits and welfare traits.
But does this technique affect the quality and the taste of milk?
You could say if you go to very, very high yields, you would see that the contents of the milk is a little bit lower. You will see a difference between 9,000 and 15,000 liters in the, couldn't call it the quality, but the amount of minerals, vitamins and so on.